Young American adults are leaving church, and surprisingly, women, not men, are leading the way. A survey released by the American Survey Center found that 54% of Gen Z women have disaffiliated from religion. That compares to 46% of Gen Z men. Well, joining us to share her thoughts is campus reform correspondent at the University of Florida, Emily Sturge. Emily, it's good to have you with us. So you believe this finding is a result of false narratives about feminism and Christianity. So explain what you're seeing happening both on social media and college campuses.
I do, and thank you so much for having me. I think this is a very concerning trend, and I think that this alarming rate of Gen Z women in particular leaving religion has to do with these false narratives when it comes to Christianity and when it comes to feminism. The left and the Democratic Party has sold this lie to young women in my generation and they've told us that in order to be free in today's society, we need to reject traditional roles like being a mother or like being a wife and instead focus on our careers and sacrifice our family life. As a Gen Z woman, I've seen how women in my generation have fallen victim to these feminist lies, and I've seen how women around me on my own college campus have completely demonized traditional values and they've rejected religion as a result. I think the root of this problem runs very, very deep. And in order to understand it, we need to look at the radical lies and propaganda that the modern feminist movement directs at women in my generation.
Well, I was astonished to learn that 61% of Gen Z women identify as feminists, and that's the highest ever. 31%, almost one-third, identify as LGBT. So tell us about your own experience in the classroom. What are professors telling their students about motherhood, sexuality, and marriage?
I had one professor, a male professor, who constantly perpetuated this ideology and claimed that women are not equal to men in today's society and told women like me that we're actually oppressed in today's society. I believe this is a classic example of how the left manipulates young women into believing that we're oppressed, and then they go ahead and tell us that in order to be free or in order to be liberated in today's society, we need to reject traditional values like being a mother or like being a wife. We need to reject religion in order to be free. That's why we're seeing so many young women misled into embracing leftist ideology and abandoning their faith as a result.
Well, as a result of that, Gen Z is now believed to be the loneliest generation. And many of us boomers thought COVID shutdowns caused that. But I know you believe it's also a result of this indoctrination. So what is the effect on families, on the mental health of young adults?
When we look at this trend of young women leaving religion, it's very important to note the mental health implications. Data does show that Gen Z is the loneliest generation and is facing a mental health crisis. Gen Z women in particular report lower mental health than Gen Z men. I think religion provides community, it provides social support, it provides hope for the future. And as more members of Gen Z, specifically women, are rejecting religion, we're left with a generation of young people who are struggling to find purpose and meaning and community, which is contributing greatly to this mental health crisis.
Well, what do you tell fellow students about the importance of faith and traditional values in their lives?
I think in order to be a rebel in today's society, it sounds kind of funny, but it means to put God first, and it means to be a loving mother, and it means to be a loving wife, even while having a career. And I plan to do just that. I am a Gen Z woman who is embracing my religion. I am embracing traditional values, even though the modern feminist movement tells me that I should do the exact opposite. I am excited to embrace having a family one day. I'm excited to embrace traditional values like being a wife because that's what I believe brings true happiness. I believe embracing religion and embracing God in my life is what brings true happiness.
Well, what needs to be done then to turn Gen Z around on faith, family, and moral values? What do you think?
I think we need to go back to embracing traditional values in our society. Traditional and religious values once made our country strong, and the left and the Democratic Party is doing everything in their power, it seems, to erase these values from our society.
And I can't let you go without asking about anti-Semitism on campus. I know Jewish students at UCLA are suing the university for not taking a tougher stance against anti-Semitic protests, but the University of Florida did take a tough stance against the anti-Israel protesters. So what's the mood and climate on campus like now at Gainesville?
Florida is a law and order state, and I was very excited to see my university uphold these values and arrest the protesters on our campus. Protesters took over our campus during finals week. They were causing massive distractions, massive disruptions. The university issued warnings, and then when protesters did not follow these warnings, the university took action and arrested these protesters. I believe my university made the right move in protecting the students, protecting the faculty, and protecting our campus community. And I hope to see other schools continue to act in a similar way as to how my university did. I think universities need to be prioritizing the health and safety of campus communities, and the way to do that is to handle these protesters by arresting them.
Okay, education and protecting their safety, that's number one. Emily Sturge, campus reform correspondent at the University of Florida. Thank you for setting us straight today. We appreciate it, Emily.
Thank you so much for having me.